Kris, can you give us any insight into who might be in the lineup for tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know where to start. What kind of insights you looking for?
Got how many? Like you're gonna have some veterans.
You got to have 8 veterans. So none of our big guys or guys who've got a lot of NHL experience, they're not going to be playing. A lot of the guys who are, I don't know, the younger vets, I guess you would say, are going to be more likely to be in the lineup.
When you got a new kind of deep pairing with Brett and Josh, do they need a bit more time to play together? Like, how do you kind of approach that when you got some new partners?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is having guys who are best suited to make this team. Next step is finding the chemistry. And, I wouldn't look in too much about the lineup and who's playing with who right now because first exhibition game, those guys are going to be playing with other players because I know Brett's not playing the first game, and I don't think he's playing the second game, and I don't know, it just changes quite a bit. So right now we just want to see what players are best for this team, and we don't want to jump to any conclusions. And also when a defenseman's playing with a stronger partner, obviously guys that are on this team last year and are expected to be on this team this year, if you have got a guy coming in, he's more likely to look better playing with an NHL veteran than another guy who's playing with an American League or a guy from junior. So it'll be, they're going to be mixed up throughout the exhibition schedule.
What's the biggest thing you look for in a first preseason game? Because everybody's trying to shake it off a little bit.
Just the skill, their skill level, what they can do. And when I say the skill level, it's not the toe drags, the one-timers. It's the events that happen often in a hockey game. How well they play on the wall. How dedicated do they look like back checking? Do they pick up the body? Do they want to go to the net? Those are the details that we're looking. And, if they don't do that very often, they're probably not going to do it very often in the NHL because they're not going to have that opportunity.
When it comes to your big guys, as you say, do they come to you and say, listen, I need 3 games, I need 4 games, I need 2 games, I don't want to play at all? Like, how do you guys figure it out?
This is my first time doing it. I was curious of how many games a player should play, and, I looked throughout the rosters in the NHL and the Oilers last year and saw what typically they played, and you look at the roster, schedule, and just seeing, okay, who are we playing, when are we playing, and how soon it is. Obviously our players, they don't want to wait too long to get into a game, and early in the year, or exhibition schedule, you don't want to be putting them in immediately because, it's more, those games are more for the younger guys who are trying out for the team. So, I don't know, and then you also have an idea and tell them, this is what I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 games, and depending on the player, what do you think's best for you to get ready? There's a lot of things to consider.
When you say, you said it's your first training camp at the NHL, is there a lot different than managing, the 70 kids in junior or whatever many you get in the AHL? When you have this big a number, how do you kind of try and manage it? Is it the same as it was in different levels?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's been so long against junior. I forget what our schedule was for. Usually playing a 3-and-3, so you usually have enough players for every player to play 2 of the 3 games, because if they're playing all 3, it's pretty difficult to evaluate them after that. And then the American League, we often would only be playing 2 exhibition games, so it's a little bit different than our 8-game schedule. So there wasn't much balancing there. So I guess this is a new experience for me.
First round picks can count as that's. Should we expect O'Reilly and Stoyan? Are they back to play?
I know they're playing. Each are playing at least one of the first 2 games. Quite likely that they'll be playing both the first 2 games.
Okay, what have you seen out of those guys? And I realize I know you were in Penticton, so you saw the first.
Yeah, no, I think it's. Often you go to tournaments and you expect the best players to really stand out and pop, but often some of those players that really stand out, as the level goes higher, they drop. Some players just play better at a higher level, with better players. There's more structure, and I saw that a lot in the American League, where often guys, sometimes they were struggling in the American League, and they would go up to the NHL, and they were better NHL players than they were in the American League. So anyways, those two have looked, not that they had bad camps at Penticton, not at all. I thought they were solid. I thought they were really strong. But I've been really impressed with them through the practices. They looked like, they look like really good hockey players, have a bright futures with the Edmonton Oilers, whether that's this year or next season. But definitely two players we're very excited about.
And just circling back to Brown for a second here, and I know his Jets maybe they might just play one of the games or whatever in the next couple of days, but you got a lot of hits. I mean, he was captain in Oshawa that year. So I think that Jack was saying that changed the rule as a result of what went on here. What do you remember about Josh Brown? I'm sure you were consulted on maybe targeting Josh Brown as a free agent.
Well, I haven't seen Josh since junior, and that was 8 years ago or so. What I remember him as being a solid defenseman, very few mistakes, good defender, covers a lot of ice, big and strong. I think so far he's had a very strong camp. Every player's got a different dynamic, and you got to think about what your team needs. Do you need to be bigger? Do you need more physicality? Do you need your team to be a better at puck moving? Do you need more speed? Every player has different elements, and I think we've got a lot of players to choose from, a lot of good players that have different skill sets. I think it's important for us to find out which skill sets we need and how good are they at that.
When you look at the defense as a whole, three of the guys that you finished playoffs with, let's say 3 or 7, one wasn't playing, are no longer here. So there is a fair amount of change on the blue line. What do you kind of think of just how you want to see that form so that you can get some continuity between the 6 or 7 that will play for the Oilers?
There's going to be some. There's a lot of evaluation right now, and that's probably mostly on the right side of defense of all the positions that we have. We're pretty set in goal. Our centermen are pretty set, left wing a little more, but our right D is big fluctuation. And then at the end of the playoffs last year, there was some fluctuation on who was in the lineup and so forth. But right now, we just want to evaluate who the best players are and see how they fit. And then, as we get a better idea of who we think is going to be making our team, whether in the second pair, or third pair, or maybe even the 7th defenseman, and then we'll probably start building some more chemistry and having those guys practice more often. But like I said, when I started, I said not to look into the lineup too much. After we play these couple games, or starting tomorrow, it'll switch up quite a bit, just because guys are going to be in and out of the lineup, and how much they practice, how much they play will be changing things.